This is The Space Shot, episode 60 for July 13th, 2017. Two captains and a Falcon. Hey everyone, welcome to The Space Shot, your daily space history, pop culture, and news fix. I'm John Molnix. Before I jump into some SpaceX history, I've got one other mission I want to talk about. On this day in 1995, the Space Shuttle Discovery launched on a mission to deploy the TDRS-G satellite into Earth orbit. The fleet of Tracking and Data Relay Satellites, or TDRS, form a communications and tracking network for spacecraft operating in Earth orbit. Before this network of satellites, spacecraft had to wait until they were over a permanent or temporary ground station to communicate with spacecraft ground teams or operators. This led to long periods where crews and satellites would be out of contact with the ground, which is not ideal for human missions. On August 3, 2017, the third satellite of the third generations of TDRS satellites is scheduled to be launched. This satellite will bring improved communication between ground and space assets for NASA.
Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. Its continuing mission to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no one has gone before.
There are two big sci-fi related birthdays today. On July 13th, 1940, British actor Sir Patrick Stewart was born. He played Captain Jean-Luc Picard across 7 seasons of Star Trek The Next Generation, and also in 4 movies for The Next Generation. He's also portrayed Professor Charles Xavier in the X-Men film series, and voiced CIA Deputy Director Avery Bullock in American Dad. In addition to his film and television roles, he's also a stage actor, appearing in Royal Shakespeare Company productions. Be sure to have a cup of
tea Earl Grey hot
today. I know I just did. The other sci-fi actor with a birthday today is Harrison Ford, who was born on this day in 1942. Ford has played Indiana Jones, Jack Ryan in the Tom Clancy movies, President James Marshall in Air Force One, and tons of other roles going back to the 60s and 70s. He also played Rick Deckard in the sci-fi classic Blade Runner, and is set to reprise that role in Blade Runner 2049, which is due out later this year. His most famous role is Han Solo, the smuggler turned hero of the rebellion in the Star Wars movies. He's had some great one-liners in the Star Wars movies, but this has got to be my favorite.
I love you.
I know.
Since we're talking about Star Wars, it's time to talk about the Falcon. No, not the Millennium Falcon, but the last Falcon 1 flight that launched on this day in 2009.
3, 2, 1, T0, +1, +2, +3. We have liftoff, SpaceX Falcon 1, carrying Kazakhstan satellite for ATSB. Falcon 1 has cleared the tower.
The Falcon 1 and also the Falcon 9 are named after the Millennium Falcon, Han Solo's famous ship from the Star Wars movies. The Falcon 1 was a single-engine, 2-stage rocket capable of sending small payloads into orbit. The final Falcon 1 launch took place at the Reagan Test Site on Omelek Island at the U.S. Army Kwajalein Atoll Station. The payload for this final flight was the Razak-Sat satellite for Malaysia, which was designed to provide imaging for natural resource management in Malaysia. Originally, SpaceX had plans to upgrade the Falcon 1 to the Falcon 1E, but those plans were abandoned. Instead, SpaceX focused their efforts on the Falcon 9 and making that rocket as reusable as possible. Tomorrow, New Horizons. Thank you all for listening to the show. Producing a daily podcast takes a lot of time, and I would love if you could take just a minute to leave a review or rating in Apple Podcasts and let me know what you think. If you're so inclined, you can ask me questions and chat on Instagram and Twitter. Find me at John Molnix pretty much everywhere. Subscribe to the podcast and share it with anyone you know that loves history, space, or pop culture. I'm John Molnix, and I'll catch you on the flip side.
Make it so.